What is up, everybody? I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. A couple of notes I wanted to throw in right up top. The merch store is now live. BrennanTComedy.com. Click on the link merch store. We've got some shirts, a couple of hats, all of it I really enjoy. Huge shout out to Billy Myers III, my graphic designer, who is also going to be on the podcast next week. Thank you preemptively for all the birthday wishes. If you really want to do something for me for my birthday, you don't have to, but if you do, check out the Patreon site, patreon.com/BrennanTassif. Thank you again so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was so much fun to record. Lots of love to everybody.
Grab me a beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. Quick rundown of the show if you are new to the show. I am sober now, but one of my favorite things to do back in my party days was to hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in trouble, and then reminisce about old stories. Being sober now, that is actually still one of my favorite things to do, is to hang out with friends, comics, actors, musicians, hear about some of their drinking stories. Today, I am joined by hilarious comedian out of St. Augustine, the one and only Courtney Olson.
Wow, thank you.
Absolutely.
What an introduction.
Go ahead, plug everything up front. We talked about it with Aaron, your significant other, but you two run a massive show here in St. Augustine.
Yeah, we love it. Paper Route, it's our baby. We pull about, I don't know, last time I think we had about 85 people in there, not including the comedians. That was a great show. First one back, and it went really, really well.
It went awesome. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. But next one, we have a huge treat. Brennan Tassif.
But we also have an even bigger treat.
Yeah, Sean Finnerty is going to be on the show. So
Sean Finnerty, who's been on Late Night, travels all over the country, headlines.
Yeah,
he's going to do Paper Route with us,
and he's going to murder. So we're really stoked to have gotten him. But yeah, that show is
the second Tuesday every month. Paper
so
Route
this
Clothing
one will be
Company.
in June.
Yeah, so the one coming up in June, that'll be my farewell to Florida date for that, and then Sean Finnerty. So I'm gonna push the shit out of it as I would anytime I'm on Paper Route, but hopefully we can guilt people into coming out, since it'll be my last big show in St. Augustine too.
I don't think we're gonna have to guilt him.
Yeah, that's true, because Sean's a huge pull. I think
we're gonna hit 100. That's the goal. So we'll see.
So we talked about it with Aaron the last time. So we kind of got the backstory on Paper Route, but I did, just having you on the show, wanted to congratulate you guys on that room, because it is one of the most coveted rooms in the Southeast that we kind of run independently. Like, it's not a club. It's not like one of those, mainstream corporate kind of venues. You guys kind of found it and turned it into your baby, and it became like the show everyone wanted to be on. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So we put a lot of love into it.
Well, I remember when you guys started, it was just kind of like a little small thing in the back. It was a big showing, your first show, but it was just, now you guys got the lights and the stage and the DJ and the whole thing now.
Yeah, we started in the corner.
Yeah.
We started in the corner. We had like a cooler out front with beer and wine in it. And now we're like charging basically the same price for 3 times more professional of a show.
Yeah, and it's definitely a super professional show the way you guys produce it. So I wanted to get that out of the way off the bat.
Thank you.
Now, Courtney, how long have you been doing comedy as long as Aaron? Did you guys start at kind of around the same time?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, actually, I had been wanting to do it for a long time, and I didn't really know, like, in St. Augustine where to hit an open mic or anything like that. Yeah, because
you were here for school, correct?
Yeah. And I was studying writing, and I was like getting into comedy writing and like film production. And so I was like, well, this is something I want to try out, So I heard about the Boca Bar open mic, And that was right when Aaron and I had started dating. So he like went and came and saw me, and then he started the next week.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, so you were first.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Of course I was.
That's fantastic.
Trendsetter.
Yes, you are very much so.
Yeah. Everyone thinks it's Aaron. It's me.
That's true. It's kind of, oh, there's Aaron and Courtney, but it's actually Courtney and then Aaron.
I'm the neck. He's the head.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
He's the thing everybody sees, but you're the one who points them in the direction.
Exactly.
I got you. I'm with you. We talked about it again. We'll make some references to Aaron's episode. Go back and check that out. But you two are together.
Yes.
You have your little monster together. Your super cute little baby boy.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Has that I'm going to ask a real hack question, but how has that affected your comedy?
Oh, well.
Just as the one who carried the baby, had the baby,
it
raised
destroyed
the baby.
almost every single joke I had written. Because half of my material was about like fuck babies, fuck being a mom. I never want to do that. I would be horrible at it. And so
one of your newer jokes that came out of it that's like one of my ultimate favorites though is the Target joke, the Target run joke.
That joke I actually recycled.
Oh, really?
The Target Chick-fil-A joke was one of the very few jokes that I told before I was pregnant about like why I could never be a mom.
Oh, okay.
And now I can use it in a different context.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was nice.
Now when you say it, because we all know you're a mom, and so now when you say it, it's like...
It's way funnier
it's
now.
It's so funny.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's way funnier now, but it's actually like less relatable to me now because I don't get flack from other moms at all. Ever.
Oh, really?
No.
So is that just kind of something you play up on stage to make it funnier?
Yeah, because that was something I was terrified of.
Yeah.
When I was pregnant, was like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm such a bad mom. But now, no. Moms are such a good community.
Okay.
Every time you run into a mom, you're like, oh no, my baby doesn't have socks on. And they're like, you're doing great, Mom. You're killing it. Moms are awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. I honestly I just assumed it was a super judgy community of people who were...
Once he gets into school, it might be.
Yeah, that's true. Only because like growing up, I remember how judgmental, just as kids, we were of other kids.
Yeah. I think
so. Maybe it's a kid thing more than a parent thing.
I think it's almost like like two vets will never disrespect each other for being shitty at it. Like it's the same type of PTSD.
Okay, I got you.
Where it's like I know what you've been through.
Yeah,
it's fine.
That's great. You did send me a list, which I really appreciate. But I kind of want to jump around on this because you sent me some very interesting topics. So since we're just starting the episode, we're going to go with the first time drinking. Now, I have got obviously my own stories about that. A lot of people who come on here, it turns out the first time drinking isn't awesome for a lot of people because that tends to be a running theme when people come on. When I go, oh, your best or your worst stories about drinking, drugs, whatever, people always go, oh, the first time drinking is terrible.
My worst.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell that story.
Yeah, because we don't know how to do it, right?
Exactly.
Like the education's horrible. They're just like, this is really bad. And you're like, well, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
If they had told me like how many shots a person my size should be taking, I would have never, but we're in high school, like had a really long off period in the middle of the day. And
I don't mean to interrupt. Did you go to high school here?
No, I went to high school in Colorado.
Okay.
So I grew up in Fort Collins.
I forget that you're not from Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, thank God.
St. Augustine. I always say Jacksonville because Aaron loves the Jags, so it always throws me off.
Yeah, no, I'm Broncos for life. But
so you grew up in, you said
Fort Collins.
Fort Collins?
Yeah, it's like an hour north of Denver.
Okay, and then you ended up coming to Florida. Did you come here for school?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I got stuck here like everybody else.
God.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how you just decided to go to this school and then you met Aaron and now you have a baby and it's...
I know.
One application change and none of this happens.
Offered me the most money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So growing up in Fort Collins, you said you're in high school and you think, is this a big party? What's happening?
No, it's not that cool at all. It was the middle of the school day, and we just like went over to our friend's house and just started taking shots. And I took probably like, we were trying to split it up between the bottles so their parents wouldn't notice.
Okay.
So I took probably like 8 to 10 assorted shots of really shitty liquor the very first time I ever drank.
That's a lot of shots.
Yeah. And I don't remember much of it, but I do remember it's Colorado, middle of February.
Oh, so it's freezing.
It's freezing cold. And I ended up like in the middle of a lake, like on top of a rock, somehow quite dry.
What?
It's like, okay, I've got to figure out how to get back from this. And then
Was the lake frozen over or?
it was slushed.
Okay.
I had to swim through it for sure. There's no way. I have no idea how I did it. But it's like, it's like one of those ponds in like the middle of a subdivision.
Yeah, I got
So
you.
the fact that nobody called the police on us is insane, because I was like out in public, blacked out for like 2 hours.
Well, there's a lot of those, people that stay at home,
And
taking care of kids and
yeah.
stuff, and they're probably looking out the window like, what the
they're like,
hell?
oh, there's high school students like rolling down this hill
In the middle of the day.
probably vomiting. Like, I have no idea. I was totally blacked out. I came to when I was falling down an entire flight of stairs.
Oh my God.
Back at this person's house, and I was like, oh shit, I need to go to English class. So
What time is it?
so I'm in English class.
So you get to school.
And it's all over for me. Like, before I got into class, somehow like knocked the paper towel roll, like the entire dispenser totally off the wall, and like trying to put it back on before anybody notices. I get to class late and I sit down, and like I was like falling asleep, and my teacher was lecturing and she kept patting me on the back like I was like sick, and she'd be like, hey, wake up. And so
Did you play it off like you were sick?
Yeah. Like
You said high school. How old? A freshman, sophomore?
I was probably a sophomore. Yeah.
Okay.
And my notes from that day were just random words that she had said, like scribbled all over the place. But I was puking into my sweatshirt sleeve so that it looked like I was just like leaning over, and I would just like vomit into my sleeve.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
It was I had absolutely zero pride. And then I passed out in the bathroom, and the nurse came and got me. But I told nobody ever, if my parents to listen to this, they're going to be like, oh shit.
Oh, nobody ever knew?
No one ever knew.
See, and I had that bit about drinking before you go into work, but it holds up with school too. It's one of those weird games that you have to play where if you get too fucked up, it's like, am I saying I'm sick and leaving?
Yeah.
Or am I going to try to ride this out?
I had to be like, I'm sick.
Yeah.
I'm going. And I know my vomit smells like alcohol.
Yeah, because that's all that was in your system.
Nobody said anything to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just one of those.
I'm lucky.
She's got rough stuff going on at home. Let's just leave her alone.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
We
that's
don't want to
why.
touch this.
Yeah. I looked out that one.
So I want to transition into another not so fun story. You've seen my comedy. I love dark stuff more than I like happy stuff. So you were talking about puking into your own sweater, which is disgusting. We might even title the episode that, puking into my own sweater. But fast forward, I'm assuming this is a few years later, 420. I'm not going to give away. I'll just say 420.
This is a fun story.
It is? All right.
In my head, it is.
Okay. Because there's a lot of verbs you use here that I'm going to just let you reveal.
So, I mean, I had a very pothead group of friends in college.
Okay. So fast forward now, you're
we're
in college. You're living in Florida.
Yeah, and they're all living in the same house right down the street from me. And I was very well known for like drifting off and kind of disappearing.
Okay.
I was that friend.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm that friend. Rob Roick, who we had on, is that friend.
Yeah.
That, again, another common. The more I do the show, the more I realize we're not all as different as we think we are.
No, I mean, but when you're in a group of girlfriends, they get really mad at you for it. Because,
Oh, yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
They always think you're being attacked. So
Yeah. Well, that's what I didn't want to say it. But, yeah.
But it's true. Like, you have to watch out for each other. So when you have the one annoying friend who's just like climbing trees and
Just
like,
vanishes.
it's like, oh God, we have to keep track of her. But that year on 420, I had smoked so much that I just like.
So this was just a few years ago because you just recently graduated.
Yeah, probably. It's 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Yeah. I had just vanished and took a nap for like 5 hours in the middle of the day.
Really?
And we had all these 420 plans. It was like our grand holiday.
Yeah. So you were at the friend's house. The friend's house down the street.
And I was just like, I'm gonna go home real quick, and then just passed out. They hadn't heard from me. I woke up to so many pissed off text messages. So I was like, oh, okay, I have to make up for this. So I was gonna sell a bunch of edibles that day, but instead I just like brought them all over to their house and gave them to them
so
for
you
free.
make up for it.
Yeah, it's like 10:30, and I'm like, all right, let's have this holiday. Like, here's a bunch of booze. Here's a bunch of edibles. I know I've ruined the last 5 hours, but let's make up for it right now. And they accepted the gesture, but we got really horrifically fucked up really fast.
Yeah.
After that. And I was
just like the first time, all over again. Let's do 8 shots in an hour, see what happens.
Yeah, except for at this point, I was like, I know I can handle this. I've done this every night. This entire semester, I got it. But I was walking home, and I was so.
So you guys do all the edibles, drink all the drinks.
I can't even remember how much.
And then you're just like, all right, now are you going back to your house as a group, or
no,
you're vanishing
I'm
again?
going back to my house alone.
You're wandering
I've said
again.
goodbye for the night.
Oh, you have said goodbye. Okay.
I've said goodbye. I'm going back home to go to sleep. And I'm like halfway there, and I'm like, I think I have to shit, but I'm so high I can't tell. You know?
No, I don't know.
It's one of I think we have
done
been
a lot of drugs, and never once have I been like, I cannot tell if I have to shit.
No, we had been doing a lot of the like muscle relaxy type of smoking. And so all my muscles like were feeling very weird, and I was like, it's very possible that I could shit my pants right now and just not know. So I got home, and I was like, I love these joggers, and I don't want to know what's happened to them. So I just tossed them into the shower.
Not just sight unseen. Just
didn't
throw them
look,
into the shower.
Tossed them in the shower, and then just proceeded to puke for a while until I like fell asleep on the floor. That's my go-to move. Yeah. It's like nice cold tile floor.
Oh yeah.
Take all the clothes off.
Especially because your body's a little overheated because you're dehydrated and you're throwing up. And, yeah. Oh, that's the move.
Yeah. So I'm comfortable. I'm on the tile floor. There's puke in my hair, but I didn't notice. And then as I'm dreaming, I start to have these dreams where I like have to pee. And you know when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm not in the bathroom. I need to make it to the bathroom. I wake up and I go, oh, I am in the bathroom.
So you just started peeing?
I woke up the next morning in my own pee, puke in my hair. And I was like, I need to take a shower so badly. And I opened up the shower door to the shit pants that I had.
You did shit in them.
That I had thrown in there the night before.
So the verdict was you did actually shit in your
pants. It was
a
full trifecta.
Gosh.
Yeah.
420. Woo!
420.
Party.
So, yeah.
What happened? Did you save the pants?
I saved the pants.
Good.
They were my favorite.
Yeah, that's what you said. That's why I wanted to make sure you saved them.
I ran the shower on top of them and then tossed them in the wash. And,
yeah. Good as new.
Yeah.
Now, I have so many questions about this. Most of you might be thinking, well, that's the end of the story, but so many questions. Did anybody find you? Because you were living with roommates at the time.
I was living with my girlfriend at the time.
Okay, so just one other person.
Mm-hmm. And she...
Was she at the 420 extravaganza?
She was not really, that I remember. And she slept... She was asleep when I got home, and she was still asleep when I woke up. So I didn't have to go through the embarrassment of being found.
Oh, so she never even...
I found myself, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
I mean, she knew what went down.
Yeah. But it's just, I've been in the position before where you're found.
Oh.
And it's the worst. Because you're like, I can handle it. Like, just leave me alone. I got it.
The amount of pictures there are of me naked on the bathroom floor or like videos. I'm like, yes, because everyone thinks like this is the first time this has ever happened. She'll want to see this.
No.
I know that I do that.
Yeah, that's my thing.
That's my
right?
comfortable place.
Everyone's like, man, we really got to show Courtney. This is getting a little out of control. You're like, no, that's a Tuesday. I do that every Tuesday. I enjoy my Tuesdays.
That is me time.
Yeah. That is me time. You back off.
It's a healthy habit.
It's a healthy habit. So you guys are I got to stop referring to you and Aaron. You do enjoy weed. You're a big weed advocate. Am I correct in saying that?
I don't know if I'm an advocate.
Oh, really?
Should it be legalized? Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Should
an advocate.
Yeah. Should everyone smoke weed? No.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not one of those stoners who's like, here, you got to smoke this weed. Like, everyone needs to try weed. Like if my mom smoked weed, it would ruin her.
Yeah, I'm that way because I've done a lot more harder drugs and enjoy harder drugs more. But like I smoked weed a few times in college because my roommate and I was the heavy drinker and he was the stoner. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of like a odd couple kind of thing. And so
funny energies.
Yeah, it was a weird. But it was always because I loved to drink. Like I didn't like to do a lot of other stuff except cocaine because then I could drink more. Yeah. And then he was one of the people who he just smoked all day. That's what he did. And he was super chill. So our energies were always a little weird because I was super like intense. And he was kind of always like, hey, man, just chill out. So
I've always been like a natural stoner, though.
Yeah.
Like
low energy.
My whole family, like from freshman year, I didn't smoke until like my senior year of high school, but my freshman year on, my parents would be like, are you stoned? And I would say yes every single time.
Oh, really?
And they never knew if I was stoned or not.
Because you have that, you're subdued. You're very subdued. You're very chill.
Thank you.
Which is it's a fantastic quality to have from somebody who's runs super hot all the time. Like before we started, I was telling you guys a story about how I had like 3 bad tables in a row, and I was like, "I'm quitting my job, I guess," and I'm fighting everybody.
Oh no, I get there.
Yeah. But you did have a story on here about other drugs.
Oh yeah.
And so I wanted to get.
I do handle cocaine pretty well.
Yeah, so you have it. The story you sent me was moving on cocaine.
Yeah, well, it was actually the first time I had tried cocaine.
How long ago was this?
This is back when Aaron and I started dating.
Okay.
So that's like 3 years now.
Okay.
And
so this is after the 420 debacle.
Yeah.
Got it.
I've not shit myself since then. Unless I did during birth, and I'm not sure. They don't tell you.
I was going to say they don't tell you?
Oh, I think they just really fast.
Yeah. She's going through a lot right now. We don't have to do this.
I don't think I did though. But yeah, we were moving actually his stuff into my house.
Okay.
And we had a bunch of people come over to help us, and like his friend just like brought some coke over, and I was like, okay.
Middle of the day.
Like, guess I'm getting fucked up today. And we were a little drunk, so I was like expecting it to be way different. Like I was like, I don't think this is really hitting me.
Oh,
you know, like I didn't like really feel my energy changing at all. And I like, as I was saying that, I said, I don't think this is really hitting me. And then I picked up a queen mattress by myself and just like carried it outside.
I'm not feeling it, guys.
I'm just like turned into the Hulk. It's like, oh yeah, this is very uncharacteristic for me.
So that's something I used to love to do when I was drinking was move day drinking. You get a bunch of people over, everyone's going to help out. It ends up cutting the move time significantly. And then everyone's just for me, because I don't drink beer, everyone's just kind of doing shots while we move stuff. And it's just like a party almost, like a moving party.
It did not go that well for us.
Okay, so what ended up happening?
We were focused just way more on the drinking than the moving. And I think we just like ended up like calling a couple of kids over and paying them money to do it all for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're like, here's $50. Like,
so it just turned into a party for you guys.
Yeah. And then they fucked all our furniture up.
No.
Whatever.
So you got the queen mattress. So that was the big Hulk out.
That
on
was
the
my
coke.
big Hulk moment. I mean, yeah, I I moved a lot of furniture by myself that day.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you did a lot of the moving until you ended up paying the kids?
Until we ended up.
Just
it was like tearing the bed apart, the bed frame. That we're like, no way, we're too
done.
fucked up to manage this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the bed frame. You're like, last straw. I'm out of here.
I was like, unassembling furniture is almost worse than assembling it.
Yeah, I've done it a few times before where I just throw everything away because I normally buy like cheap Walmart stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, instead of trying to take this entertainment center apart that cost me $48, I'll just trash it and get a new one for $48.
Because it probably won't go back together.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
It's all particle board
Yeah.
and stuff and cardboard. So it just, you try to unscrew it and then everything just starts breaking apart anyway. So it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. That's totally relatable. So I've been trying to focus strictly on you, but you did send me a story about you and Aaron.
Oh, yes.
So Aaron and Courtney take Universal, and then in parentheses you put try to.
Well, he definitely went a lot harder in his heyday than like obviously I'm going right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's told some stories that were pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he did the, which is why I always try to have a list now. He did the classic thing of we stopped recording. He's like, I forgot to tell the story about, and then he went into this crazy story about the Bahamas.
In the
And I was
Bahamas.
like, Jesus Christ.
Do you know how many times I've heard that story?
Probably a lot. When we get him back on before I leave,
if he didn't
he's
get
gonna
it in,
tell
I could tell it verbatim right now. Just kidding. But no, he told me these stories when we started dating, and so I thought like, all right, like I'm gonna have to keep up with him.
Yeah.
But he's much older than me. Like body wise.
Yeah.
Way more rundown. So we we went to Universal and we brought
How long ago? Like, set it up.
so it was when we first started dating.
Okay, so this is around the moving time.
It's like we were going ham at
Okay.
this point. Like,
Yeah.
both of us were acting like we had way too much money. Like we just on a whim went to Universal, got a hotel.
Oh, so you guys weren't
know?
even pass holders or anything. You just kind of went.
No. Yeah, we just spent way too much money.
God, those are expensive tickets if you're not.
Yeah.
Damn.
To go get way too drunk.
And this whole time, when you guys first started dating while you were in school, you were working in the service industry also, correct?
Yeah, I was at the Floridian.
Okay.
That's how we met. Really, it's like I went in to see him at Prohibition after I got off work a lot because I would like go in for a drink after work.
Oh, okay. So you had no idea who he was, and then you would go to this bar, and you're like, "Who's this?"
Yeah, and then
handsome man behind the bar with the big beard.
that sure. No, he was cute, but
Wore you down.
He remembered my birthday after looking at my ID once. It was
It's a hot girl summer move, man.
I was like, because he had served me after last call, which was kind.
Yeah.
And then his boss comes up to him and goes, "Oh, she looks pretty young. Better check her ID." And he goes, "Oh, March 4th, 1997." And I was like,
Aww.
That's pretty creepy.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. I think about that all the time. Like, you just tweak a story a little or tell it to a different person. It's like, oh, that's so romantic. And then other people are like, that's horrific. He probably has bodies in his basement. He just walks into the base or the attic and he's like, March 7th, July 13th, just to these dead bodies.
Yeah, it could either start that way or it could be like, and then they got married 3 years
and they
later.
Had a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're in love.
Yeah. So luckily I went the right way for us.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But
so
yeah,
that's how you guys started dating.
Yeah, and we were going to Jacksonville and drinking a lot. And decided to go to Universal one weekend and
just on a whim. We both got the weekend off. That doesn't happen a lot. Let's go to Universal.
Yeah, and we so we of course bring weed with us, and we're just like walking around Universal chiefing on this weed pen. We're buying drinks there. However, we're also going in and out of the park back to the car because we have a handle of tequila in the car.
Okay.
So we're like really working ourselves out.
Yeah, that's a long walk
It's
too, because
like-
you got to go all the way through City Walk, all the way back around.
And we're both also total adrenaline junkies. So
Yeah.
like we want to hit every single ride. And it was such a good day to be at Universal. Like it was just overcast. It looked like it was going to rain, but it never did. So like
Not too hot.
we rode the Harry Potter ride like 4 times because
There you
there
go.
was like no line. But we're also like really, really drunk and taking shots every time in between. And so we had worn ourselves out to the point that Aaron needed like a 3-hour nap, like in the car.
Okay. In the middle of like what time did you get there? Did you go like down early and go straight to Universal, or did you go to the hotel like the night before and then wake up early?
I feel like we got there when the park opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are all things, because I was a Universal pass holder for a while, then a Disney pass holder for a while. And so these are all things that I find fascinating. It's like, what was your strategy?
No,
Like,
because we were doing Islands of Adventure and
Universal
Studios. So we were doing the whole thing. We wanted all day. And
So you leave St. Augustine, because that's about an hour 30, the drive.
I think we had to have left at like
7 in the
7
morning.
in the morning, probably.
Yeah, 'cause the
really
park's open at
early
9.
for us.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. See, I find this stuff so interesting. Most of my listeners are probably like, "Who cares? Talk about getting drunk at the park."
Yeah, so we're getting drunk at the park. We're
Yeah.
getting shit-faced at the park. And,
So when
It's
is the
Universal.
3 hour?
It's
When
the
is the
happiest
nap?
day of your
That's
life.
why I asked. When is the nap?
the nap, maybe it could have been shorter. Probably about 2 hours, but it's in the middle of the day.
Okay,
It's like
so you're-
after we've eaten lunch.
Got it. You're at the
We-
park. You're doing all the stuff.
We've
Getting
been
wasted at 9 in the
just
morning.
and just the conversations between Aaron looks at me and goes, "Tell me one person in this park who's cooler than us right now." And both of us are walking around like, none of
Nobody.
them, no way.
Nobody. You're in a shit house at 11 o'clock.
And they're all looking at us like, "Oh my god."
What's in that butter beer? Can I have one?
These people are a mess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up like losing my ticket out of the park.
Oh, so
So,
when you left the park at one
We
point.
left the park and then I like left my ticket in the car. So we spent like probably about an hour just like walking back and forth to the car because I was like forgetting shit.
Oh my God.
But the most embarrassing thing when I like realized I was too drunk, I had left my phone. I couldn't find it. And so I had Aaron like track it. And it's just on the train between the parks going back and forth.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh fuck. And I have to go and like ask the people to get it off the train for me. And they're like, what does it look like? And I was like, the case says boss bitch on it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, which I'm clearly not.
Yeah. Well, and that's also another weird thing, because that's like when you were in school wasted, because it's like, I don't want to talk to anybody but Aaron right now.
Yeah, I was like, I want to eat my turkey leg.
And just,
I want
yeah.
to scream on a roller coaster like authority figures.
Well, and now you have to have that conversation. You probably reek of booze and weed, and you're kind of like, hey, you guys.
I left my phone.
They're like, of course you left your phone.
And I had just started dating Aaron and I had been losing everything, and he's like way drunker than I am, and he's just looking at me like, this bitch is a mess. Like I was like having so much fun and he was being so forgiving, but I was like, no way is he staying with me.
Yeah, you guys get back, and he's like, all right, well, that was a fun couple of weeks. I'll see you later.
That was super annoying.
Yeah.
But,
So what
no.
ended up happening? You obviously got your phone back, but did you?
Oh, it took us till the end of the day to like sober up enough to drive out of the park.
Okay.
So like
So at one point you guys were like, all right, we need to stop drinking and maybe get some water.
like the sun goes down and we're like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
we need to drive
We have a
eventually.
decision to make now, yeah.
Like, we have an Airbnb set up. We have to get our car out of this garage somehow. So yeah, I think we waited till the park closed and then took like another little nap in the parking garage.
Okay. And then skedaddled out of there.
Yeah. Had a nice Airbnb. We stayed in for like 3 hours.
And then turned around and just came home.
Turned around and went back to work in hell, you know?
God.
The service industry life, it feels like.
It is the service industry life. It's so conducive for that kind of stuff. There's so many times now where people come in like super hungover, and I work at night or still wasted. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, that's why we work where we work. Like, get fucked up, go home and sleep. Like, what are we doing? But it's like you said, you come in. We're actually, a lot of people I know, and I know I was like this for a long time. I'm better at my job if I have a couple of drinks beforehand because you're dealing with tables.
Somebody told me that the other day.
Yeah, you're dealing with people. And if you can get a little loose, like, hey, because I'm always super stiff at tables now that I'm sober, because I always treat every table like it's this like business meeting, kind of like, oh, we're in a nicer restaurant, blah, blah, blah. But like we have a couple people who come in a little saucy. And they're just like, hey, guys, what's going on?
They're killing it.
Dude, you'll see them like it'll be super awkward like in the wait station because they're like yelling and like getting aggressive. And you're like not mean, but just like loud.
Yeah.
And you're like, God damn it. Like this guy's all fucked up again. Like what is happening? But then they'll go to their tables and they're just like, boom, boom, boom. How you doing? These are the specials. This is the wine. And like laughing and the tables are laughing. And I'm like, God damn. Like crushing it.
Aaron and I call it schmoovin'.
Schmoovin'?
You get like just the proper amount of drunk that you can like still really move around the restaurant, but also can schmooze all your customers.
Okay.
You're schmoovin'.
You're schmoovin'.
That's when you make the maximum amount of tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I used to go in like that, but then as my alcoholism got worse, like I would go in and I was not schmoovin'. I was just wasted.
Yeah.
And then that's when it gets dangerous because then you start forgetting stuff that the tables asked for. You start forgetting which tables are yours. You don't greet. You're just doing everything you can to power through the shift.
That's like a server nightmare.
Yeah, that's probably the worst.
No, that sounds horrible.
So I wanted to get to you. Actually, this is the story that you did reference when we talked about you coming on the show, Last Paper Route, which was the barter system that you used to have when it came to getting alcohol.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about my friends calling me the wanderer and always being so pissed at me for like not being on the same page as them.
Yeah.
It kind of stemmed from this one night when we were out party hopping, but it was like something weird, like a Tuesday or something, you know, so there wasn't that much going on.
And we know what happens to Courtney on Tuesday.
Tuesday's the best day of the week.
Callback. Boom. I'm a professional.
Yeah, so we end up at this house party that's like mostly guys. And girls hate that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like guys hate when it's just guys at a party, but girls really hate it. Because girls just like make parties more fun, I think.
That's true.
Like they're there to dance around and like whatever. So
well, and also if you show up and it's you and like 3 other girls, then you're going to be the focal point now of everything. And
yes.
It's like I just came to like hang out with my friends and drink and have a good time, and now every single person here is hitting on me.
Yes. So that's how we thought it was going to be. But turns out these guys were like super cool. So I'm just like kind of vibing with them, you know. Mm-hmm. We're chatting and I'm like, okay, this seems like an okay place to hang out. And my friends are trying to get the fuck out of there. They're like on high alert woman predator mode.
Yeah.
And
which is also goes back to why you would wander around and they'd be like, God damn it, Courtney's probably out getting raped or something right now.
Because I'm just like, and they're like talking to these guys and they keep coming back inside and being like, Courtney, we're leaving right now. And if you don't come with us, we're leaving you. And I'm like, not hearing the tone. So I'm like, okay, like I'll see you. I'll catch up with you guys later. See you at the next house. and meanwhile, I'm inside just kind of like criticizing these guys because I was a little drunk and their house was really messy. And I was like, you really are having all these people over in your house.
Oh my God,
this?
you went total mom mode.
I went total mom on them. I've always been a mom.
Yeah.
deep down. I went total mom on them. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Like, I'll take care of it for you. So I'm just like cleaning up their house. Like
Mid-party,
mid-get together, really.
Okay.
But like telling them different tricks they can do. And they're just like giving me more and more beer. And in my head, it clicks. I'm like, I could get beer this way.
Yeah.
So I start telling them, like, I'm like, yeah, here's my phone number. It's like the only time I've ever given out my phone number to random guys at a party.
It's not to hook up. It's for
I was hustling.
Cleaning services.
I was hustling. So I was like, here's my phone number. You're 21. Show me your ID. You can buy me a 6-pack. Perfect. Like, that's great. So I go outside and all my friends are just like standing in the driveway.
Just mad.
So pissed. I was like, I thought you were going to the next house.
Yeah,
and,
what happened? I told you guys I'd catch up with you.
And so for the rest of the night, I'm just totally in the doghouse, you know. Wake up the next morning with a dead phone. So I finally see all the text messages I had been missing from them. And I've got like 20 text messages from my friends that are like, I can't believe you're doing this. You could be dead. Like,
oh God.
Blah, 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 blah. And then like,
but that 20, is how it, I mean, as much as we roll our eyes, that is how it happens.
No, yes. But then I also have 20 text messages from like random guys that are like, I'll give you a 6-pack if you clean my house.
Oh my
like,
God.
Thanks so much for getting that stain out of my shirt.
So did you actually pursue it? Did you start cleaning houses?
No.
Oh.
No, I was like, my friends are probably right. These guys are probably creepy. But
yeah. God, that would have been awesome. I don't know what it is. Because I know you have the bit about how you're not really that nervous because the Taken thing, which is, again, another one of my favorite bits that you have. But I don't know what it is about certain women who feel that comfortability. Because we had Morgan Gallo on, and she said the same kind of thing. Like when she was hanging out with guys, they were just friends. So in her head, she's like, I'm just hanging out with my friends. But other people see it and they go, this is a bad situation for you to be in. Like, this is how those news stories happen.
It's totally false confidence.
Oh, that's all it is? It's just kind of like...
I mean, like, yes, you have to...
In your case.
You have to be a good judgment of character. And, like,
yeah.
I believe I'm a good judgment of character. There's people I feel comfortable being around and people I don't, you know?
Absolutely.
And I've been wrong before. It's scary to like know that the possibility of being wrong has such high consequences.
That's true. I never thought about it like that.
But
oh my God,
you can't. For me, it's like it shouldn't be this way. I'm mad it is this way. So it's more important to me to just be able to get to live my life in the way that I want to. And I do just walk around with false confidence, that hoping and praying.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is that the way you just described it, I'm going to live my life. And I remember when I was really young and then 9/11 happened and everyone was like terrified. And I remember one of the guiding themes was don't live in fear because then they win. Because then the terrorists win.
Yeah.
So you just want to live your life. And the reason I related to that is because as a young female, and you're not doing Muay Thai, you're not, you don't know jiu-jitsu, like, but you're still just like, I'm not going to be scared to like go out to bars with my friends, and if I want to go to a different bar, I'm not going to be scared to go to a different bar, and that takes balls that I don't even know. I left the Comedy Cellar in New York one time by myself at 2 a.m. As I'm walking to the subway station, there were just 3 dudes out, like right outside the steps, and I was like, taking a taxi. Like, nope, not doing it.
Well, there's moments where you regret it, right? Like,
now for you, this is interesting how we've kind of stumbled into this, but in your case, have you ever, and if this is too personal, just let me know, but have you ever been in a situation, I know you said that you've been wrong before, but have you ever been in a situation, like what is that feeling when you're like, oh, this is about to go really, really bad?
It's definitely like there have been cases where you've kind of feel like I have to feel this out because this guy is much bigger than me.
Yeah.
He's clearly trying to hit on me. And if I turn him down, I have no idea how angry
how he's going to react.
He could get. So that happens all the time, right? And that's a line that you kind of have to get used to walking. But like,
God, that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I talked about this with Rob on his podcast. Totally different scenario, but similar situation as far as the other person. Someone came into his shop, and I complimented on him on how well he handled it because the guy didn't look like the best kind of character guy in the world. And it's Rob runs a gold shop, so a lot of times it's people down on their luck, like at their wits' end, like they got to sell something that they really like in order to get money to pay rent or something. So you have to be able to talk to those people a certain way. Very similar to what you're saying is, if I do this the wrong way, then this could end up badly for everyone involved.
Oh, yeah. Before I've wanted to say, like, hey,
get the fuck away
let
from
me out of this Uber right now. But if I say that and then the doors lock,
then you're not getting out of the Uber.
It's all over.
And that's, it's so interesting. You're the first person that I've had on, I think, that we've actually talked about this, because especially when I was drinking, my whole thing was like, if I would flirt with a girl, because I've talked about it before, but I'm not a very good flirt unless I'm introduced to you.
Yeah.
If we're at a party and someone goes, hey, Courtney, this is my friend Brennan. Brennan, this is Courtney. Then I feel like, oh, we know each other now because we have mutual friends.
Yeah.
And so then I'll joke around and I'll play around and stuff, and I can normally get a good vibe of what's happening. But I won't just cold walk up to somebody unless I'm hammered.
Yeah.
And in those cases, I was always just like, why do girls play games? Like, just tell me you don't want to. And then I'm like, wait a second. I'm 6'2", like 280 pounds at the time. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't have said anything to me either now that we're talking about it.
You accept the drink and you're like, all right, I'm going to go to the other side of the bar now.
Yeah.
You know, because, and it's not any guy's fault. I mean, it is. It's the guys that have sucked, but yeah, some guys are like, well, I would never. And it's like, sure, but I don't know you.
Yeah. Anybody coming at you with an AK-47 is
a threat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Another callback. I'm joke quoting the hell out of you today.
Exactly. But no, yeah, I ran on, I think the most threatening, I was walking home from the same friend's house. It was like about a block between their house and my house. So every night I kind of made that walk. And one night my phone died and I just like didn't have anything on me really. And there was this guy in the street and he kept like kind of approaching me and then like
was he like catcalling you or
no,
saying like, hey,
he was like, hey, and he was a lot bigger than me. So I was like trying.
Homeless guy, college guy, just.
He looked like honestly, he was like ripped to the point where I was like, he must have just gone to the gym. Like he looked like someone who like always just got done going from the gym, but he also looked like really disheveled and like pretty drunk, you know? And so I was like, this is kind
like
of
a fratty guy, like just leaving a party,
but like
maybe?
Older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like probably in his 40s. So like
damn.
Real recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And he like crossed the street over to me and had something in his hands and then like went to shake my hand and just like had his dick out.
What?
And I was like, all right. And I just like ran as fast as I fucking could all the way back to my house. And luckily he didn't follow me. But yeah, I mean, one guy on a bike tried to grab me one time. I punched him in the back, which that I was really high when I did that. So that was like way back in college. I was stoned. I'm walking to meet up with my girlfriend, and this
so
guy.
You're not blind to the consequences.
No,
like, when your friends are like, something could happen.
I'm like, I
understand
know,
that
like,
could happen.
Yeah, this guy rode past me.
But you're like, fuck that. I'm still gonna live my life.
This guy rode past me, grabs me. I turn around and just like.
Socked him. It
was just immediate reaction. Like the momentum was going, but he like turned around, and so I was pretty afraid because I was like, oh shit, he's on a bike.
Yeah, I'm not outrunning him.
I'm on foot.
Yeah,
and I'm stoned. So yeah, that was scary. But I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, that's
not punch a guy.
Yeah, no, you got to punch him.
You got to punch the guy.
You got to show him who's boss.
Yeah,
this is my house. You're a guest here.
Exactly.
God, so. That just, I never thought of it from that perspective before, because I've always been the kind of person who is, like I said, where I was like, why don't they just tell me they don't want to like go out or something? Like, why would they just ghost me? And it's like, oh, because then they're safely away from you in their house and they don't have to keep texting. Like, then they can just stop talking to you.
I feel like I try the best I can to like tell jokes that bring that perspective to it.
No, and absolutely.
That it's not like, it's like, we don't hate you. Like,
well, yeah, because you do have
we're just scared.
Yeah, you have a lot of material about that. That's where it's like, yeah, especially like I referenced the AK-47 joke, but it's like, yeah, like you're depicted in society as, if this goes badly or you don't like how this goes, you could kill me. Yeah. With your bare hands.
Yeah, you have the power to.
Yeah, and
I just
nothing
have to
I can do about it.
Trust that you won't.
Yeah, which is good that most people don't.
Yeah.
but there's always those
enough people.
knuckleheads.
Enough people
do to where it's because
Yeah.
my twin sister's the same way, where she's very much like nobody's gonna depict how I live my life. Like I'm going to do what I want to do, and she's always been that way. Like I have this story about putting my head through that guy's window of his car because we were leaving a bar in Daytona, and she was standing like closer to the building, and then I was there, and then this other guy was in the street, and he was like, "Let me get your number, girl," and she's like shouting her phone number, and I didn't like the cut of this guy's jib, so I was just like, "No, man, like just keep it moving, just keep it moving," and he's just like, "Come on, man, I'm a good guy." He's with a couple of his friends. They all get into this, but I'm like, I'm the nervous person. So out of your circle of friends, I'm your friend. So
Yeah.
He's like, don't you know what can happen? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And my twin sister, who's 4'11", like a tiny person, is just screaming her number out at the top of her lungs herself in downtown Daytona when we're wasted. And I'm like, what do you do? She's like, you're not going to stop. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. You're not going to stop me.
Because, well, and you want to say, like, no one can ever put their hands on me. No one can ever try to hurt me. Like, you want to say that, but you don't have that power.
Yeah, because that's just not true.
The only power you have is, like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Until somebody physically stops me from doing it.
Yeah, and she just kept shouting out her number, and then the guy got in the car, and he goes, "What's wrong with me?" I go, "I just don't like you, man." And as he's rolling up his window, he goes, "Well, fuck you, Frosted Flake." And that's when I turn and I go, "I can't hear you," and then I put my head through his window, and that stopped the whole flirtatious transaction very quickly. You're not trying to get
He didn't text her.
Yeah, you're not going to text her after her brother just put his head through your window.
Jeez.
But yeah, she's very much, and my older sister is very much like me, like nervous, anxious. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be in this room full of people I don't know, kind of thing. So it's interesting how it just all depends on the person. Like it just doesn't matter. And that's one of the cool things that I love about you, and especially you and Aaron and Nick, that whole dynamic that you guys have going is you're all very chill people. Like you're just kind of like, all right, cool. Like never once have I been in Paper Route and thought like, oh, a fight's going to break out. You know what I mean?
Only that one time that it did.
Oh, the boy. Well,
yeah, there was a chair thrown the second show.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't remember that. So I might not have been there. Tell that story.
There was,
I think the first Paper Route I went to was 3 or 4, and then I never missed one after that.
Let's see. I don't remember who had just finished up, but Casey Crawford was closing.
Okay, yeah, then I wasn't at that show. Because I love Casey, and I would have remembered that.
Yeah, he murdered that night, too.
Yeah. Did he tell the raccoon story?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that story.
But
for those of you listening, just real quick shout out, Casey Crawford. Check out his band Virginity on all digital streaming platforms. But he is also a very hilarious comedian. All right.
Yes. So he was our headliner that night, and right before he got up, these girls were sitting on like this side part.
Okay.
And
so it's an L shape for those of you listening, the stage, and then there's kind of the main crowd, and then it kind of goes off to the stage left of like this almost like side of the stage.
Yeah, almost like a little VIP section on the side of the stage.
Big couches over there.
Before we had a real stage, though, we're on floor level. So the people sitting in the front row of that little section are like right up on the comedians.
Okay.
And the girls right behind them had just been drunk and talking and talking and talking.
Which is something that does happen. I mean, it happens at all shows, but I've noticed sometimes at Paper Route towards the end of the show, people start to get a little like boozy.
Yeah, exactly. We're reining that in next show.
Oh, are you?
Hard 9 o'clock start time for anyone listening.
Yeah.
Hard 9 o'clock start time.
Yeah, because last time I was texting Aaron and I was like, hey, man, I had to work. I switched shifts to try to get out early, but I don't think I'm going to get there till like 9:30. He's like, don't worry, you'll be fine. I showed up at like 9:42 and you guys still hadn't started yet.
Yes,
I was like,
because
all right, cool.
we always want to wait for everybody.
Yeah.
And we love you guys, but you get too drunk. So
well, and then
hard 9 o'clock
the
start
people
time
who get
from
there
now on.
at 8:30, they've been drinking the whole time.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. And this girl had just been talking way too much, and like we try to keep that showcase as professional as we can. So the people in front of her actually said something to her.
Okay.
And she ended up like putting her hand in the guy's face.
Oh,
so the girl punched her. So then she stands up and throws a chair at this girl.
Is Casey on stage?
as Casey's coming onto stage. So Casey's like on stage at this point watching this fight go
hey,
down.
everybody. Oh my God.
Like WWE style fight happening on the side of the stage. Like we have to like physically remove them from the building. And Casey played it off so well.
Yeah.
Of course.
He's a fucking professional.
He comes up there. He's like, everyone please give a hand for those 6 people that I hired to do that before every single show I perform.
That's awesome. Who pulled him out?
Aaron, for the most part.
Okay.
It was kind of like a Greg.
Because I couldn't.
It was
like,
kind
I love
of
Nick, but I couldn't see
Greg,
Nick being
Aaron. No, me and Nick were both just like, what the fuck?
I can't see Nick like yoking somebody up like, and Prosecco, get your ass out of here.
No, I could beat Nick in a fight for sure. Yeah, it would have been me before him.
So Aaron basically is like, oh no.
Basically, Aaron and Greg had to kind of corral him out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So for the most part, other than that one
For the
incident,
most part, no fights.
you've done
at
13
Paper
shows
Route.
there, correct? This will be 14 coming up?
Yes.
14 or 15?
We always use fucking Roman numerals
I know,
for
and then I always lose count. Well, because I remember when you did the year anniversary show.
Yes.
Because you had everybody on, and everybody who had ever been on before, you had them come on and do like 5 minutes.
And so that was in December.
Yeah.
And then we did January, February.
And then March you shut down.
So this will be 15, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is going to be a big one, too.
About
It
it.
came full circle.
So stoked about it. So
That's awesome. So full circle, plug everything one more time.
Paper Route next month. Well,
Second Tuesday of every month.
second Tuesday of every month.
Paper Route Clothing Company off King Street in St. Augustine, Florida.
It's 225 West King Street.
There you go.
And it's a great show every single time.
Best
also,
show.
just stop by there anytime.
Yeah.
To buy their clothing. Visit Greg. They have a lot of events going on there. So
It's very interesting how, this is how I describe it to people. I go, it's called Paper Route Clothing, but you walk in and then like the obviously because it's, unique clothing that they design themselves. So there's just that one like almost hallway that has all the shopping stuff. And then in the back, I don't know what they do normally back there, but in the back it's like a performance stage.
So typically it's like their warehouse. That's production back
Okay.
there, right?
Oh, got
So
it.
they need
got
a lot
it.
of space
Yeah, I
for
was gonna
that.
say they've got so much space back there, and I was like, they don't have a lot of floor space for the clothes, but then they
No.
have this huge back of house.
Yeah, they do like printing and stuff back there.
Oh,
But
because I've only ever seen it for the show.
when we first went there, they were doing like a movie night, and I think they like just started getting into events back there and like
Aaron said
realized they
you
could use
you
it
guys
like
went
that.
to see a movie.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember the
Lost
movie.
Boys.
That's what
Went
it
to see
was. Because
Lost
I
Boys
remember
there.
listening back to his episode. I go, man, I should have dropped the Kiefer Sutherland because I know he's in that movie.
Yeah, it was it was a cool setup. It was like on a VHS on a projector, and we
Yeah.
were like, okay, these people are down to do some funky stuff.
Fun stuff.
You
Yeah.
know?
And now it's turned into this. Now they've got a bar back there and a little popcorn
Yeah.
machine and everything.
Yeah, and we totally lucked out. You
Yeah.
know, just like happening upon a space that can flourish so much. So
Well, and it's perfect for what we're doing because you guys don't bring in a lot of awesome comedians. You don't bring in some of these, which we've talked about on the show before, and the audience knows my disdain for some of these hacky like club comics who are like, yeah, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
Betty. Like you bring in real comics. You bring in comics who play clubs, but they're not like they're not like that one style of, oh, the old ball and chain, my wife, da da da. It's like they're real
Yeah.
comics. So I really appreciate that because there's so many venues that just bring in people who, oh, they've got this many followers, or oh, everybody loves them. And it's like, yeah, but
no,
do
that's
you see
not
what
what it's
they're doing?
about.
Like they're not doing they're doing like the most low hanging, like, oh, it's relatable for everybody, but it's not even like a good joke. It's like an internet joke or a
Yeah.
dad joke, and you're like, that's not what we're doing here.
Well, Aaron's got a really great eye for booking people.
Yeah, he does.
And
I mean, he's booked me twice.
and between Aaron and Nick, they do most of the like seeking out because I'm like really bad with names.
Yeah.
But the way they kind of run people past me is like, if I remember your name,
Oh, okay.
then I
Yeah, so
enjoyed
they'll
your
bring it up
comedy.
and you're like, oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, if I don't know who they are, then they probably weren't.
Yeah, that.
And it's
memorable.
not that like people aren't good or whatever. It's
Oh no, we can talk as much shit as we want. On this. Some people suck.
but some people just like really, really aren't right for our room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And every
I
time,
mean, there's some jokes that I have that would fall into that category for sure.
and every time we book someone, we think like, is their experience like, because we want to give people the same experience we have on stage, where it's like you feel like almost every single joke is just like
boom,
fucking
boom.
crushing, you know, and people are really into it. Like it feels like you got to perform like for a real show experience, not like a restaurant full of people. You
best
know?
tape I have is the first Paper Route show I did.
Yeah.
Best tape I have. I clip that up all the time.
It's just that energy, you know?
Yeah.
And so we want someone.
It's almost like you can't fail.
Yeah. So we want someone who's going to have that experience. Otherwise, it's not worth having them in that room.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to hate it up there,
yeah,
you know?
Well, that's the other thing, too, is that it's conducive for the art form of comedy. Because a lot of the people listening are, and that's why I think I love, like I hold Paper Route in such high esteem because it's a show that, you know, I had just come back in. I had only been back in for, you know, everyone knows that I had taken a break for about 3 years. So I'd only been back in for a year or two when I was booked on the show. And it meant so much to me because it was one of those situations where it was like, these are the rooms that I talk about. When I talk about, I don't play, like I'm not conducive for clubs. I don't have a lot of hacky material. My material, you have to listen or you're not going to get it. Like
yes.
I tell stories and you have to pay attention. If you don't pay attention, you're not going to hear dick, pussy, fart. Like you're not going to hear those trigger words like, oh, I need to laugh now. Like
yes.
And that's why when I was booked on Paper Route, it always holds such a place in my heart because I was like, oh, these people are listening to what we're saying.
And you get to say what you want to say.
Exactly. And
instead
then
of
respond.
thinking like, ugh, are they even going to catch this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because there's certain stories that I tell where I'll have a dozen tags in them and I'll play rooms where people only laugh twice. And I go, because you're not fucking listening.
Yeah, you're not paying attention to me.
We're not playing music where you can chit chat with your friends and then look up every like 10 minutes. Like you got to pay attention. So again, full circle. I commend you for that. Second
Thank
Tuesday
you.
of every month. Going to be a blast. This next one, June 8th.
The June 8th?
Yeah, it's June 8th.
I'm glad you know.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. I'm putting together this Farewell to Florida tour. That was the big star date that I had. June 8th,
Oh,
Paper
yay.
Route.
Well, it's not like I just show up. I do other stuff, I swear.
Well, go ahead and, I don't know if you want to plug your social media, tell people where they can find you.
You know,
any dates coming up?
I by the time this comes out, it'll be past, I think.
Oh, okay.
I guess you can follow me on Instagram. I'm horrible at like really promoting myself, but I am working on a website and I'm trying to get better.
Okay.
So if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, I'll eventually put out my website, and I've got like 2 albums that I've been working on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Okay, perfect. So check it out, Courtney Olson. If you Google her, this will come up along with her other stuff.
Along with a million other Courtney Olsons.
What do you say? I look like I should have it. I look like I come from a country that ends in Vakia.
Yeah, I looked like I was shipped here in a Wayfair cabinet.
My mom made me Courtney.
Just look for the nose.
Oh, man. Well, this was awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Perfect
fun.
with the stories. And then we got into some more serious stuff. Perfect episode. So everybody, thank you so much for listening. Again, subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/Brennan Tassif. Check me out on all social media at Brennan T Comedy. Check out the website, BrennanTComedy.com. Farewell to Florida tour. We'll be kicking off at Paper Route June 8th. It's a month where I will be traveling around the state, doing my last shows in a lot of places before I move to New York City. So check out the website for those dates, and we'll talk to you all next week. Nothing?
Bye.
Okay.